into executive session for reason number 3, for discussion of contracts and/or litigation whereby public discussion of those matters would have been detrimental to the interests of the town. Just for the record, may we have the roll call again, please?
Selectman Tropiano, Selectman Slavin, Selectman Titlebaum, Town Administrator Derek Sullivan.
Next item.
Announcements. Mrs. Whiteside.
I have none.
Mr. Tropiano. Okay, I got a few. Last week we announced the library golf tournament. Of course, I got that wrong 3 times out of 2 days. Wasn't bad. It looks as if has been postponed, thankfully, so I didn't miss, to March 16th due to a potential snowstorm. Hopefully they won't have one again. Oyster Festival is coming to Wareham. Wareham Village Association will be doing an Oyster Festival, including a 5K road race. And there'll be at Toby Memorial Hospital on High Street a speaker series as well. This will be during the school vacation week, which ends, I think, around Sunday, April 27th. Mr. White is doing his Thursday morning breakfast. Still at the library, Bob? Yes, sir. Okay, over at the library. Mr. David Mitchell, interplay between STEM and industrial design. That's 9:15, Thursday, the 20th. That's it.
Okay, I just have one following up on the Oyster Festival. Let me see, where did that go? I received an email to announce something here. Huh, that's weird. Let me try again. Dig this up. Here we go. If you own or manage a local restaurant and have not been in touch with the Wareham Village Association about the upcoming Oyster Festival, the Wareham Village Association encourages you to do so as soon as possible. The Oyster Festival, scheduled for late April, is a great promotional opportunity, and it doesn't need to cost you anything. For more information, visit warehamvillage.org. So that's, I guess, a shout-out to the restaurants to get involved with the Oyster Festival. And that's all I have.
Citizens' participation? Anybody?
That's 2 weeks in a row, my goodness.
Seeing none, next, please.
Authorization to sign bills? None. I've got minutes for February 4th. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Oh,
You were
actually,
here.
sorry, I was
The
absent.
motion needs to be to approve and hold.
Yeah, approve and hold, please.
Yep.
Is that the motion?
Yes.
Made by,
Whiteside.
seconded by,
He wasn't
Patrick?
here.
Can't,
second out of necessity.
I'll second
Selectman
it.
Slavin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. 301.
You got
Selectman
it.
Tropiano
Nice-
abstaining.
Nice job.
No license, no permits. You want to take something out of order, sir?
Yeah, just we're going to jump down. We've got the Director of Municipal Maintenance, and we also have the Chairman of the Cemetery Commissioners. If you would come up, and if the board would flip through their packets to Article 14, which is proposed for the town meeting warrant. I wanted to get these folks out of here. This is for cemetery sales.
It's in here.
These may have been put outside of your actual packets in the materials that were put in the envelope, but not within the actual folder.
It's
Okay.
outside.
That's why I can't find it.
There we go.
It's not mine. Give it to me.
And it's Article 14. Well, if you'd like to explain to us what this is.
Actually, we're looking at for 122,000 from the. This would be from the sales of lots and graves. This is pretty much to go into a bunch of different things. I don't know if did you guys get all the breakdown? Did you get
Yes.
the breakdown?
Yes.
Everything.
Came
What we're
today.
looking for? You know, repairing the roof in Center Cemetery. There's. Oh, she's got a whole breakdown here. The garage, 10,000 for headstones, 10,000 Agawam survey, 5,000 for materials. That's repairing the roadways and such in there. They got 5,000 for ad signage, and 2,000 for office stuff.
Questions from the board? Selectman Slavin?
First question I have, $90,000 repair and maintenance to the garage. That triggers a capital item. $50,000 in buildings.
Mike, please.
On the special town meeting, we could put a request for the approval of that as a capital item.
Okay.
But we do have the capital plan. I just don't know if I can incorporate that in as part of the capital plan.
Yeah, 'cause if we don't, I think you're gonna run into a problem,
Yeah.
because it does, unfortunately, it meets the requirements. It's not the cemetery itself, it's a garage. It's a building. The other question I have is $2,000 for office supplies. Is that separate from your regular office supplies, David?
Yes. I'm sorry, if
Yeah.
I may. When I became a cemetery commissioner, I asked that the records concerning the burials and all business having to do with the cemeteries were separated out, so that now, instead of just having all the information on burials in a general file, everything is done according to lot. We've been supplying the file folders, and that's what this is for. That hopefully will finish off, I don't know,
What we started.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
what we started, but no, I don't think it's going to be a full 2,000, Ellen,
Okay.
but,
I'm
yeah.
just looking at here. Again, I would look at, for the future anyways, that if we can legally, not have any restrictions, we should be looking at digitizing all the files we can. We made it a policy of the board, and it's really a policy for the whole town, so I hate to spend money that we don't have to spend, that's all. That's all I have.
Any other questions?
Well, yeah, I mean, that 90,000 is definitely in question. We're gonna have to deal with that at some point.
Yep, well, we've got time
I
to
got that on my phone.
deal with it with the special. That doesn't close for quite a
We're gonna have
while.
to deal with that. I have a question for them about something different, but let's deal with this first.
Okay.
Selectman Whiteside,
I'm all set.
any questions on the?
No, thank you.
I guess just by way of background, I did have a couple of questions. When is the last time you can recall that the town spent any money out of this account?
I think it's well past like 15, 20 years. The account itself is to be used for the care, maintenance, enhancement of the cemeteries. And one of the things we are looking at is expanding the cemetery. So this money could be used to purchase new land. We are running out of space. There's no two ways about it. But we need to finish using the Agawam area, and that's why we're asking $10,000 for a survey. We're actually trying to manipulate the area so that part of it is still full human burial and part of it becomes a cremation area, so that we can try and expand what little space we've got left.
You know, it's interesting because this is what I was gonna ask. It's a good segue. There's actually a 2.5 acre parcel adjacent to that that's for sale, directly behind it. Did you know that?
Yes, I tried to
Have we
get
talked to
that
them?
bought when it first was on the market. Now it's got a plot plan and it's all ready to build houses. It's lots.
Sign's still up there for sale.
Yeah, and it's in separate lots, so they're a lot more expensive than what it would have been back when he was
Well,
first
there was
looking
only
at
2
it.
lots back there. There
Yeah,
were 2
and-
house lots. One of them became a house lot, because I remember, I know the guy who owned this thing originally.
Yeah.
And then there's the 2.5 acre parcel that they're still trying to sell.
They have 2 parcels still for sale, and
Yeah.
they've been for sale for two
Yeah,
and a half
forever.
years.
Right.
So
Longer than
whatever-
that, believe it or not.
At the
Yeah,
time,
yes, it
all we were able to do was to get a buffer around the cemetery because we weren't quite clear on where the burials completely ended.
Well, we should.
So there's a buffer
That should be
beyond the
pursued.
stone wall.
We should look into that, and find out about that 2.5 acres back there.
Mm.
That's been for sale a long, long time. I know the guy who originally bought that. I think he was in the oil business, actually.
It's a for sale by owner.
Yeah, I know.
It's a 401 number.
So it's a FISBO? It's somebody out of Rhode Island then.
Yeah.
We
Alright.
should really talk to them, find out about it.
I'll email you the number because I go by it every day.
Okay.
Just, you know, I mean, 2.5 acres, that's a pretty good chunk of land. I mean, you can bury a lot of bodies in 2.5 acres. Especially if you cremate them,
yeah.
And it's adjacent. I mean, it's right there.
That's very true.
It's touching your cemetery, so.
And it may in fact
Point.
contain other
Something-
remains.
Other
Yes.
remains that we don't know about, right?
Yep.
So, well, anyway, that was my thing, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Anything else in terms of questions? A motion, please?
I want to do the 15,000 on special.
Make a motion to move warrant article number 14 forward to town
Second.
meeting warrant.
Second.
Motion made by Selectman Slavin, seconded by Selectman Whiteside. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Thank you for your work on this.
Special. We have the special article as well.
We're not doing the specials tonight.
I have to come back?
Yeah, I mean, why can't we do it?
Thanks, Derek.
Oh, we don't have it here at all?
We
No, it's
can't.
not here and it's not on the agenda.
You know,
I know.
you gotta do a better job of that, though, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't
No,
make
that's all right.
make them.
That's
Patrick,
okay.
I
I
love
mean, once
coming
they
to see
hear,
you guys.
you know what? We love to see you too, but you know, I mean,
Okay,
it's a matter of convenience.
just let me know when.
I mean, this is all volunteer stuff, you know.
That's true.
Next week, right?
Thank you, guys. Next.
Actually,
So
it takes
next
a while. No, it won't be next week.
Actually-
It doesn't
How
close
about
until
tomorrow?
sometime in March.
Oh, okay.
So we got a ways to go. That's
Okay.
why I'm waiting, so that we don't get willy-nilly here.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So,
right,
trying to keep it
thank you.
organized. Okay, I understand the school superintendent has articles as well. Maybe we could take those and then get back into the regular agenda.
Is she here? I saw her.
She's
earlier.
across the hall.
You wanna wrestle her down?
Yep, my voice carries.
Come on down.
School first and then.
Good evening.
Hello. Actually, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good.
You're here for you're wearing two hats here. I guess one is to speak to the, I guess what I would call the override placeholder article. And where we have a couple of members of FinCom here, maybe we'll hit that one first, so that they can hear what's going on.
Sure.
Perhaps you and Mr. Sullivan could tell us what this is about. And
Yeah, thank you.
Article number
It's our
7.
view.
Oh, it's much worse from this angle. Well, thank you for having us tonight.
that was a little uppity, but anyway, anyway, just I'll read this off just so people know what it is. Article 7, Proposition 2.5 contingent, we have to change the spelling there, supplement to annual budget for fiscal year 2015. And the language is to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of money for the supplemental funding of the fiscal year 2015 operating budgets contingent upon the successful passage of a Proposition 2.5 override ballot question or take any other action relative thereto. So this serves as a placeholder. Why don't you, the two of you, explain what the process is going to be so that you can come up with a plan and a set of numbers before town meeting?
I think you hit the nail on the head. That's what we want to do, is put together a plan to show the residents and taxpayers of this town, if there were additional funds coming in, we were able to have additional revenues, what sort of services we would bring forth. And there's also, I believe, and the superintendent can speak to this, we're looking right now as our budgets outside of override is creating greater efficiencies as well within our departments.
I think that's one of our exercises that we're going through in the school department, is to examine every service that we offer, our expenditures, and then can we make it more efficient, more productive for our students? We're also trying to put together a plan that will continue to move our schools ahead, but not put us in harm's way in another 3 years with spending not meeting the revenues. So we're looking to develop a long-range plan. We have justification of what services we need to rework, why we need to rework it, what services we can combine between the schools and the town, and how do we move forward and making this a win-win.
There's been some discussion about, doing an override, and we were looking at numbers, and I made comments about a few weeks back that I wasn't gonna really support something that didn't make sense long-term. We really didn't have a plan in place at the time. We go back 3 years ago, we had an override, we never really made a plan going forward. My feeling was that we needed to have a plan to show people. We needed to show how we were gonna reorganize, how we were going to move forward each year and make things more efficient, better service, using less funds as best as possible, looking always what our revenue is going to be, and at least go out 5 or 6 years. To come back to the citizens of this town in 2 or 3 years and say we need more money, it's not going to fly. So I'm more than willing at this point here to go ahead and put it on the warrant with the stipulation that this will be a plan in place before town meeting, and if so, then I can support it. If not, then I would ask we pull it from town meeting.
Yeah, I have the same thing. My, similar, I've been saying this all along, as you well know, is that the plan needs to be in place because we have to offer the citizens a reason why to do this. And just in virtue of the way it's put on here, a supplement to the annual 2015 budget. Well, that's not really true because it's not the 2015 budget, it's an override, so it would be, as opposed to a debt exclusion, which means it goes on forever. So it would supplement every year with whatever amount that you were talking about, would supplement from then on, forever. But how does that fix the problems? See what I'm saying? Like long term. If this only fixed 2015, and then you said to me next year, well, we got another problem. We're going to have some money for 2016 or 2017 or 2018 or whatever it is, I would be not willing to go along and vote for this. I just wouldn't. I mean, I want to know that I'm getting some bang for my buck in a distance. I want to be able to sit back and say, okay, well, I want to feel like I did something good. And I think all the residents want to feel like they did something well. And not just for an immediate Band-Aid, but something that helped me long-term at a reasonable number that I can handle, that I think this is what people want. I think that's what they want. I think that's what we've been missing all along. We've never promoted it like that. We've never told them what it is, what's important to them can be, and for what it's going to cost for some kind of length of time, somewhere out. This little fixes of Band-Aids, which we've been doing for a long time. I mean, put a Band-Aid here, Band-Aid there, and then that Band-Aid blows out, we put another Band-Aid, I don't want to see that. I want to see long-term things, and as you well know, out some kind of years. So I'm hoping that that's what this is going to be. Look, I believe in putting everything on the warrant that comes in front of us. I don't think we have the right to stop stuff from the voters of this town at town meeting being able to vote on it. I don't think that's our job. So I'd put anything on anyway. But that's not the point. I want to get behind this because I know it's something that this town needs. And I want to get behind it 100%, but I want to know that it's the right thing for us to do.
May I just say that I support my peers' comments, and I feel very strongly that for the first time in a long time, there is a very intense effort between the school side of the town and the town side of the town. Finally, somebody figured out it's one tax bill, and it is one town. I don't care who says differently. So, yes, people need to be informed about what it is that you are proposing so that they do have the facts, not scare tactics, not this is, doom and gloom jazz. You need to be telling the truth. You need to get the trust of people and the integrity of your numbers to ensure that what you are saying is really true. Sorry.
One last thing. Yeah, we need them to hear it from us.
Right.
From us, the people here that they've put into these positions to make these decisions and help them with these decisions. They need to hear it from us. And they need to hear it so much so that they don't hear it something different in the corner of the coffee shop where they sit back there and they say, well, did you hear so-and-so and blah, 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 and you hear all that kind of stuff, which just isn't true. I mean, you sit in a coffee shop and you listen to the stuff, and it isn't true. They make it up. It's all made up. So we need to get it to so many people that they can walk into that coffee shop, and if somebody says something like that, they say, no, that's not right. This is what's right. That's important. Because then the people are informed. They will give you what you need. You just have to give them the reason to do it.
And
I know they will.
facts.
We do have a couple of members of the Finance Committee here. I know that they've been involved in this thought process. Would you like to come up and speak? I think it's some thinking about it, huh? We don't bite. No, that's... I'd just like to get the FinCom's perspective here out before people.
Want me to go first or you?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We appreciate you having us here and letting us speak at this time. I assume that you are all aware of the preliminary budget that was presented to our Finance Committee, which had approximately $2.5 million of deficit. As I've mentioned, that's not scare tactics. That is really going to decimate the services in this town if we cut $2.5 million from our budget. We've looked at it. Mr. McDonald and I have been working on the Finance Committee for several years. We have seen the 5-year projections. We've seen them over and over and over again. And up until now, we have not had a Board of Selectmen who's been willing to really address it because we've been able to find one-time fixes. We've reached the end of the road. There are no one-time fixes. We have got to do something that's a permanent solution. So that is the plan that we've been talking about. We've all agreed the plan has many components. The first component is to look at the cuts and the way that we're delivering services and to find the most efficiencies possible, new ways to deliver businesses, to deliver services to the community. We've taken a lot of those cuts already to get to this point. There's been a lot of loss of service that people are just beginning to feel now. We're looking at new efficiencies. We're looking at new methods of doing business, which is what the town administrator and the school superintendent are doing a very good job of doing. We also have to acknowledge that we've had a problem in the past in this community with poor fiscal management. We have to stand up and say to the community that, yes, there's been a lot of mistakes in this town. We've learned from our mistakes, and we are not going to repeat those mistakes. We have to be able to say that, because if we can't say that, people aren't going to trust us with that money. So we have to have a plan going forward with what we will do with that money. And as the members of the board said, and I just heard you say that, we on the Finance Committee have said the same thing. I cannot endorse a plan that I don't believe in. So we're working on a plan with the administrator and the superintendent. Board of Selectmen are involved. We will all do this together. We will come up with a plan that we can live with. It is not finalized. It's a work in progress, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we can do it.
Chairman McDonald?
I'll just be brief. I agree that when we look at the budgets and when you go into town meeting, you're looking at the prior 2 years and the current year budget, and that doesn't really tell you anything. So in this year's, and the warrant, the Finance Committee's report warrant is going to have the prior 2 years, the current budget, and a 5-year projection. That's, I think, important, not just to look at it from an override standpoint, but I think it's important to show that we are looking to the future. We can look at 15, but we need to look to, we have to keep an eye on the future. So that's one of the changes we've made. And we've gone through the exercise of looking at the budget with just cuts, and we know that it's a 13.6 by the, I think it's 2020, it's a structural deficit of 13.6 million or something like that, which is a huge number and not doable. We all know that. Then we went and said, okay, let's just take a number, throw it at it, put it in as an override, and just run it through without any cuts. And that doesn't work. So we know that it doesn't work just to put an override in. So it's a combination, and this is part of the framework we talked about at our last meeting, and we've gone through the exercise. We need to look at what we can repair, what we can share. We need to look at our services in this town and see how we can better deliver them, to the people. At the same time, we need to look at being able to fix the town. Every budget we've looked at for the last 2 years, there's no capital, there's no stability. When you go out to borrow and you don't have any stability, people are very wary of you borrowing. So it's not just a operational override, it's an override to fix the issues we have in this town. We need to pay attention to our capital, we need to build some stability, and we need to fix the way that we do business. So that's the only way we're going to support it too. That's what we're working on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thinking that we need. That's exactly the kind of thinking that has to be put into this. Not, it's been a long time coming, and unfortunately, we've been willy-nilly about it over the years. We've had, we tried to do things secretly. We've tried, everything's been tried, and it's not the way that it needs to be. That's the attitude that we need right there. That's the kind of thinking that we all need to put together. The other thing I want to mention is, it's been bandied about that there's pots of money that we're all holding here, and I'm saying this because I'm going to tell you, I've been around this town since on the finance committee 6 years, 4 years as its chair, back to what, 90? I want to say 96, maybe somewhere around there. And if there were pots of money, I'd know where they were. I've been here a long time, okay? And I'm going to tell you, I want everybody to know. There are no pots of money. No one is holding any money. No district is going to charge and all of a sudden give us a check. This is not going to happen. None of this is going to happen. All right? So if anybody out there, any resident thinks that there's pots of money that are hidden at places, forget it. It doesn't exist. I want you to know that right up front. That doesn't happen. Get that out of your head and start dealing with the facts. The facts are we're in desperate situation, and it's going to require real outside-the-box thinking, just like this gentleman just now and this woman and these people that are sitting in front of us have just said to us, outside-the-box thinking that puts a package together of everything. And to be honest with you, I'm glad that I'm here to be with this whole thing, because I think we all could be proud of what we're trying to do here.
We'll give you our retirement package after we're done.
Well, fortunately, your retirement package is, if I doubled it, it would still be the same.
Same as ours.
Anything else, or could we have a motion?
Motion to go ahead and put Article
7.
7 on the town meeting warrant.
Second.
Motion made by Selectman Slavin, seconded by Selectman Whiteside. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 400. Thank you for coming tonight. I know it's a busy season, and especially for the FinCom, so we're appreciative that you came on an off night to lend your support to this idea. And also thank you to the superintendent and the town administrator.
Thank you.
We look forward to hearing from you. Okay, actually, we still need... Oh, yeah, she doesn't need to be here for that. You know more about that. Okay, why don't we jump back into the regular portion of the agenda, get back in order here, and then we'll come back and look at the rest of the proposed articles.
Funding source contract to sewer business.
Still waiting for the state report.
Last week, we had sewer easement 3 Old Glen Charlie Road, sewer connection. Mr. Christopher.
Yep, if you'd like to come up.
Mr. Campino.
Yep. I understand we've learned more about the status of the property since last week, as to how the town came to own it, what's there.
Okay.
Selectman Tropiano, why don't you?
I'm glad you gave us the time to do the research that I think is necessary to protect the town. As it turns out, the lot does have some other drainage pipes in there and things of that nature. The lot is really virtually unusable for anything else as far as what it's concerned. So I make a motion that we grant the easement.
Second.
Motion made to grant the easement by Selectman Tropiano, seconded by Selectman Slavin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 4-0-0.
Thank you for your patience, by
Yes.
the way. I'm sorry we had to put you off, but it's really our due diligence to make sure that we did the best for the town.
Well, that's good. At least we know we did it the right way.
I appreciate
you.
that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, Mr. Campina, is fiscal year 14 betterment abatement for Oakdale Heights Lane.
Good evening, members of the board. For Oakdale Heights is not part of the sewer project. It was included and it shouldn't have been. There's a lateral put on Avenue A for that property, and it just shouldn't have been. That property belongs to Oakdale Heights. Oakdale Heights was excused from that project.
I recommend the abatement for $18,000 for the property known as 4 Oakdale Heights Lane, map 134, lot 3.
Second.
A motion made to abate by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. Is there anything on the question from the board? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 4-0-0.
Next, we have a sewer usage abatement for 6 Allen Avenue.
I'm asking for an abatement. This was a kind of unique situation. We had found 134 accounts on hold for water. We called the water department and found out that a great majority of those accounts were actually on water. Some have been on water since 2005, 2008, 2009, and not paying any sewer bills. This was one of those properties. After we sent her a bill, she came and told us that she had taken out a permit to do an apartment over her garage for her daughter. While they were doing that, her husband passed away, and therefore they never completed it. Even though there's water, because they weren't using separate water services, so it did reflect from the water department that water was on, rightfully so. However, they hadn't completed the project, so I'm asking for an abatement. Now, I've taken the property and put it inactive, and what's been customary is to put things on hold for water. And what we're doing now is we're calling the water departments every 6 months and finding out if these properties are in fact no water usage. If there's water usage, we're going to bill them. So we're able to get quite a bit of revenue and accounts back active because of this. And we've even found apartment complexes and many different
Better
things.
get
so
used to talking to that water department, because I have a sneaky suspicion in the
There's a
future
lot
you're going to
more.
be talking to them a lot.
Absolutely.
I'd move the abatement of $298 for the first half fiscal year 2014 usage for account number 791595, map 50F, lot 146, known as 6 Allen Ave.
Second.
Motion made to abate by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 4-0-0.
Next up is the second half sewer usage commitment.
Yes, pretty standard, the second half of fiscal year 2014, which went from August 1st to January 31st.
All right, so we do have a little issue with this, right?
I don't know.
Because once we start talking about the EDUs and making some corrections on that, which I think we are, we might have to shuffle the revenues around.
Well, with that in mind, I think that we're going to be looking perhaps retrospectively to the first of the year, which may result in some adjusted billing. Maybe that's the way to go about it.
I don't know. I mean, what would you say? You know, it's his department. I mean, what would you say? Because I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to do some changes to your EDU rates, the way that on some of the issues,
And I have no issue with
which
that.
is going to shift around some of the money. So you're going to have to recalculate a bit.
Well,
How
I'm
is that?
thinking it would probably make more sense to do that in 2015, which is a couple more months away. We're in 2014. 2014 budget is in and approved, and this is revenues for 2014. So I think if we're gonna make any changes to adjust all the sewers, then we should do that in 2015, which is a new budget, and then we can actually redo the whole budget to accommodate whatever changes. Because you're gonna have to, if you're gonna change some of these structures, and then we're gonna have to make some adjustments on the actual expenditures and the whole 9 yards, and it's gonna be very difficult to come back to close the fiscal year trying to do all that. So I would suggest 2015 is what should be our target date for any new. And maybe by then we'll also have an entire new structure in place. I don't know where the board's gonna go entirely.
Well, it probably will be at some point. I mean, I'm thinking that, I mean, as far as the feeling I get is that there's going to be some serious changes at some point. The thing is that there's some issues out there that are, have to be dealt with for this year. And that's going to affect your overall revenue, I believe. And I don't want to, you know, I want to know how we can fix that before we have this issue. I just don't want to have an issue.
Well,
But
just
That's a
If I-
policy. That's a policy,
If I may,
Chad.
Yeah.
if I may ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Guy, we picked up some additional EDUs this year through the audit and such. Did we budget those for FY14?
No, those, but what we picked up
All
for
right, so
EDUs
then
is
it's
gonna
not
go
an
to,
issue.
they're
So
gonna go
then
to
we're-
2015 budget. They're unusable.
Okay, so that's a non-issue then. Okay.
I don't
okay.
know
So
if
we
I
could we
authorize-
I didn't realize that was the case.
can't use those funds.
I didn't realize you hadn't done that. Okay, so that's the answer. So that's, okay, that's fine.
yeah. So what I was going to say was we could
Okay,
hold
great,
off until
yeah.
next week, deal with the EDU
Yeah, that
chart,
was a
and then come
leading
back to this.
question,
But doesn't
I'm
matter.
good. Okay, if that's the case, and we didn't, that's a good call, Derek.
Yep.
Make a motion to authorize the second half-year commitment for the fiscal year 14 sewer.
Same as the
fee.
first half. What's the rate?
596, same.
596, same rate. Okay.
Yes, yes.
A motion made by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Slavin. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 400.
Any other sewer business? Whiteside? Patrick?
No.
I have none. Thank you, Guy. Have a good
Geez,
night.
that was easy.
Thank you. We'll
That's
see
the
you
fastest
next
you
week.
ever got out of here.
Yeah. You're not going to get off that cheap next week when we do the EDU rate chart.
I think I'm on vacation next week. I'm gonna put it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Send a designee. We're good. We're good about
Yeah,
that.
send a designee. Actually, I think Derek can loan you one of his.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Next up, we have capital planning, short and long-range capital plans. Mr. Gilberti?
What happened to the funding for contract two?
Go ahead, Mr. Chair.
We're
we're
still waiting for the Department of Revenue to come back. They were just out there recently to go over it. Yeah, we're still waiting for the DOI to come back with their report. They were out there, I want to say, right up until last week. So we're anticipating a report, I believe, Mr. Sullivan, within 6 or 8 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be a good
So-
estimate.
Once we know that, we'll have a better sense of what we can do. But thank you for the question.
Capital planning, of course, is the legislative committee in the town of Wareham dealing with capital goods, works with the finance committee. And normally, we don't really have the capital planning committee come before the Board of Selectmen as we're the executive branch. But I thought it'd be a good idea for them to come forth and give us an explanation of where they're at, what their short and long-term plans are, working with the town administrator, the director of finance, town accountant, school committee, all different departments, coming up basic ideas of not just doing a 5-year plan, but giving us some idea of what they're looking for in the future of actually procuring capital and how we're going to make it work.
That's all?
That's it. It's all in the charter.
That's all? You piece of cake, right, Jim?
Absolutely. Well, everything was going fine until you made the comment earlier that just destroyed the entire plan.
Right, that there's no money?
Exactly. We were planning on that pocket there.
That pot of money that's
Yeah,
hidden? Yeah.
That's the one. Well, for openers, looking at 2015, looking at the whole 5-year plan, but looking at 2015 specifically, the Capital Planning Committee put together some priority items, what we feel out of everything that was submitted to us for 2015. There are some priority items that need to be addressed. And that totals at the present time to a partly $2,026,000. And in looking at it and in reading the paper at the same time, I find that that number is off based on the new number coming in from the school department for the roof. We had a 1.2, and they're looking at 2 point something.
Is that
If
for the high,
anybody's-
that's for the high school, right? The high school roof?
Yeah.
When did that change?
The MSBA came back with a figure of 2.3 for their program.
For the whole roof?
Yes.
Yeah, that building's what, 20-something years old now?
22.
Yeah. See, the roof they put on it now will be rubber probably, that won't be the same issue.
It has a rubber roof, it has rocks on top of it.
Does it
And
have walks on the roof?
there are rocks on the roof, it's rubber, and the channels, there are channels like this
Yeah.
for the water to go out. The trouble is that they don't have a proper cant, and they're filled with rocks. So all that does is freeze up.
It's very rare to put rocks on a rubber roof.
There
Very,
are
I mean,
rocks
I've
up there.
I've actually never seen it done. Usually tar and gravel, something like that, they use rocks. I've never seen
Well,
it done on a rubber roof.
Maybe it's tar, but it
It's
is.
tar and
it
gravel,
is-
I'm pretty sure. When they
they're
replace
rocks,
it nowadays, they replace it with rubber, and rubber is virtually the best thing in the whole world. I mean,
I think it was I
That's a
believe some of
problem
the
with
issue was
seagulls
seagull
are a
issue.
problem with the rubber
Seagulls would
roofs.
drop the food and then peck through the food and
No,
Go
what
right
it
into the
is
roof?
when they fly off, because seagulls don't fly straight up, they run,
run.
and they've got claws, and they poke
And
the
they- yeah.
holes
Yeah, I think they
in the
also,
roof, and
But they also move the gravel around.
they poke
Yeah, but-
into the surface there.
they
Either way.
poke the surface and can, in fact, poke holes in it.
Good enough.
But aside from that item, we looked at the 5-year plan, and the numbers that we're playing with at the moment are huge. No other way to put it, they're just huge. You're looking at if we look at all departments, what's on the list of items that they're requesting or in their 5-year plan, you're looking at over $5 million.
Over the 5 years, or for the first year of the 5 years?
First year of the 5 years.
wow.
And that does not include any of what we've classified as extraordinary items. School replacement, a possibility. A police station is a possibility. Upgrades to the sewer treatment plant, granted, that will come because it's an enterprise fund, that's separate money, but it's still an expense to the town and an expense to the taxpayers in the town, one way or another. The numbers are staggering, and part of the problem with the numbers being so staggering is the fact that we've pushed off doing this stuff for so many years, as you indicated earlier. And, in some place, this is all gonna catch up with us, and it's starting to right now. The solution to this, I'm afraid we don't have the magic wand at the moment.
Can the town buy lottery tickets? I think it's a big thing, right? Isn't it this week? Isn't it like 400 million or
Yeah.
something?
I can buy a lottery ticket.
Can we go out and buy some, can the town buy a bunch of lottery tickets? Maybe we'll hit.
You should know, you were on the finance committee.
I don't know, but
They don't
it
let you
seems
in.
like, I think maybe I'll go out and buy one for the town and one for me, and see what happens. Now, I would be perfectly fair, believe it or not.
To get back to the 2015, putting the roof on a separate package at the moment, only because I know there's a warrant article out there, but the numbers that I'm dealing with here at the moment are a result of our last meeting, and we haven't had a meeting since that change came out. But the roof out of that, we're still looking at over $800,000 for priority items for different departments: police, municipal maintenance, chairlift in the school, IT department. All of these are necessary to function effectively in this environment we're dealing with, and also in order to make us go forward. we can't postpone this stuff forever. So we have to look at something. We've tossed around different scenarios and don't really have any good answer out of it. So far, it's still, that idea of having a credit card and go out and borrow was great, but you've got to pay it back, and right now, we don't have that method.
It's a shame because this is like the optimal time to be able to do these things if you had some money, because you can't borrow money for any less than you can right now, ever, in history. The rate is so low. I mean, it's almost, one for $1. I mean,
Right now, we've been going out for State House notes, which are cheaper. The feeling is if we went for a bond issue, a major bond issue, our bond rating would drop. We haven't had the continuity, we haven't had the revenues or the stabilization fund to back it up. So.
$2.3 million to repair that roof?
That's what they're coming back at. We would hope that the money would actually be less. I think they're covering any and all contingencies. I think they come in with a higher figure, and then what happens is, whatever it ends up being, there would just be the difference would get wiped out. So we have to come up with, I believe it's 32% of the total.
Well, you have to come up with the whole,
We have to come up with the whole
the whole
initially.
thing, and then they give you back the
As you go.
68% or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, they
As
pay
you
out
go.
over years, right?
Yeah.
They pay out as you're paying it off, they pay it out.
Yeah.
Is that the one we went for? Because there's a couple different options.
I thought,
That school building?
I may be wrong, but I thought as we're doing the work, we submit bills and they
Right.
pay on
That's
this
the
one.
one, because we wouldn't want to borrow till the very end, till we
Right.
had
Yeah.
the actual last bit of cost.
I'm pretty sure that's what we, that's
So
the deal.
we'd basically do a temporary borrowing for for that amount.
It's like a construction loan.
Yeah.
I mean, going forward a little bit, some of the areas or things that we kind of kicked around at capital planning would be consolidate all the vehicle maintenance in town. Put all vehicles, including school buses, under municipal maintenance to reduce the duplication of space and equipment, and maybe get more efficient use out of the personnel. Transfer the existing school bus barn to the harbor master. He's looking for a new building, that's in his capital plan, for storage for boats for the winter. That would eliminate that expense. Have all town property plowing to be handled by municipal maintenance, including the schools. At the present time, they're requesting a truck for plowing.
I'm sorry, the school is requesting a truck for plowing?
Affirmative.
They do plowing around the school, more than
I
a few
under-
years.
I know that,
I know.
but
Not disagreeing.
Like us, they're a mixture of the staff that plows and hired contractors
Yes.
as well.
they, I believe, only use their own.
They hire contractors as well. This year they have. So.
Well, the hire contractor is the best bang for your buck, believe it or not.
Yep.
Because you only hire them when you need them. And you're not paying them for the whole year. So it's definitely the best bang for the buck, without a question. I know everybody thinks when they see those guys out there that, we're spending a lot of money, but overall, we're spending way less than we would spend if we had to keep that kind of staff available. And the equipment.
There's also a request for municipal maintenance for fuel pumps. And our recommendation would be to consolidate all the fuel depots under municipal maintenance. Have one gas station, have the backup equipment necessary so that we don't lose power. If we lose power, they're still able to get their gas, they're still able to function, they're still able to get to the contractors, police and everybody get from the same place. It would seem if we put in something worthwhile, based on what they're looking for, there wouldn't be any real reason other than agreements to include the districts under it as well. For the credit card system or whatever, however that it works, to be able to track all the vehicles, the amount that's used, and who gets charged what where.
That'd
So-
certainly probably be a big savings to centralize everything.
Oh, it's huge.
Not only that, it would, minimize spills and contamination
Right.
potential problems.
When, excuse me, what year are you talking about that one for?
Last year.
Hmm?
Last year,
Year before.
2015, actually.
The capital plan, because there's been no capital plan.
Right,
The stuff that's been sitting probably from 2012 has been moved up year
right.
after year.
What I'm asking is that part of what you are presenting in your capital plan
Yes.
budget?
Yes.
All of these things that you're talking about now?
Well, what I'm talking about right now is to pick these items out of the plan, if you will, in some ways that would I think for the board, for the town to look at on how to maximize the dollars that we are spending in certain areas.
Well,
To
you've already,
minimize.
yeah, but you've done the homework on, you get all of the requests.
Right.
You prioritize the requests, you line item the requests, and then you put forward what you think is the right thing to do, correct?
Theoretically, yes. Actually, as far as this is concerned, what we've done is gone through and on the priority items that I have listed here are the ones that we felt, after discussion with the various department heads, the things that are the most critical that they need now, that they're way behind on
But if they,
and need to be brought up.
if,
What I'm suggesting here is additional things that could be done in order to be able to maximize.
that's just what I want to make very plain, is that some of these things that should have been done a while ago need to be done.
Yesterday.
Yes, and so while they may not be, emergencies or anything like that, you do it right today, and then you will reap the benefits on an ongoing basis. And that
Yes.
is what your committee has put forth in that plan.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're also suggesting to set up a motor pool for town hall vehicles, instead of everybody having their own vehicle. Have less and spread them around. And probably one of the other things to look at is a review of all the buildings and equipment and determine any excess that could be sold or repurposed without having to acquire new, including schools.
Motor pool idea is a great idea.
All those ideas are great ideas.
These are some really
Let's
good
push forward.
cost-saving ideas.
Yeah, these are all what I call low-hanging fruit.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah,
things
nice
that
and easy.
easy, doesn't require a lot.
Essentially, the cost associated with these is kind of minimal. The biggest cost, obviously, is the fuel depot, but that's something that's needed anyhow. So, which pocket do you want to play it out of? Is really what it comes down to. I mean, and we've been, the committee's been, working together with Finance Committee. We went, they were kind enough to invite us in to speak with them. The Finance Director, John, is a good help. And we're working with all of the interested parties in trying to do something positive. Even the town administrator.
Town administrator, huh?
so,
You seem surprised.
one more time, the dollar amount that you would be requesting for fiscal year 15?
On the priority items,
No. I want you to do it right.
you want the whole thing. Well, then we're only looking at 4 million.
Fine. And what are the priority items total?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which horse I'm on here. The priority items that we put together that came up with including the roof, was a 2,026,000.
Yes, but that has to be changed because of the change in the
Okay.
roof.
At the moment, I'm just gonna
Okay,
take that number out because
Yeah.
that particular number is being handled,
Okay.
approached in a different manner right now. So that changes that number to basically 830,000, give or take a couple of bucks. Under that is a UPS power supply for the IT department in order to keep the equipment running, so we don't lose that and lose the information that's on there. Phone system, because that's, well, I mean, Derek can probably tell us the problems with the phone system better than I can.
I think each of us can.
Yeah, if you've worked through it,
Yeah.
and it's,
And it's been an ongoing thing, so it's not like it's a new item. Municipal maintenance, he's looking for a new truck, only wants one with a plow, so he's got the ability to send somebody out when it has to be done. A video surveillance for up there for 30,000 and fuel pumps for 100.
So those are the starting gate ones, but your $4 million is really what we need to
Yes.
do. Good. $4 million.
So if you buy the right ticket,
Yes, for a few years.
We should be able to, wipe away at that pretty good. Did we ever get free cash certified?
No,
We're still, at this point, how many months? out of
Use the
free
mic.
like so.
How many months out of town meeting, October? And we still
Yeah,
have no
yeah.
free cash number?
we traditionally have been getting it in December for the last couple of years. So,
That's when they finally do it.
you know, I don't know the last time free cash was certified before October town meeting. That's
We
few
always had it
years.
certified before October, always.
Yeah.
That was the olden days, dear.
Well, we have to get back on the olden days because one of the things, as a matter of fact, if I remember right, we changed one of the regulations, one of the rules that required us to put so much of it into stabilization was a mandatory. I remember when we did that, when we said, okay.
Guess what? We did that before you did it.
And then we were going to use the other money for one-time expenditures, i.e. capital. That's what it was going to be expended. Because we were, of course, at one point using it to plug holes in the budget, which, of course, caused compounding issues from one year to the next. So when do we expect to get it certified?
I would say any day now.
Any day?
Waiting on the DOR.
Right.
So,
Not a good answer, that's what it is.
I guess we're just not on the, we have to get more warm and fuzzy with them. I mean, obviously, I'd say we're not liked or something up there.
let's just say we didn't receive roses on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to figure a way to schmooze or something. I don't know. You're going to have to put on your schmoozing outfit.
It's going to be an interesting, and this is off topic a little bit, what we do with free cash when we have it certified. Automatically, 50% should be moved to the stabilization
Right,
fund
right.
during the spring special town meeting. Then whatever balance is left, we have to figure out a few things. Do you let it roll over? At the end of the year, we'll probably have a close to $400,000 to $500,000 snow and ice deficit. So if you're letting that roll over, you can raise that on the recap, the snow and ice deficit, but that's just reducing your next year's budget.
Yeah,
So,
but the recapping it is probably the better way to go. We've done that for years. That's always, everybody does it that way. They do it on the recap because it's that way. It's like all of a sudden I know that I have this free cash, and you say, well, no, you don't have it because we're going to spend it here. See, the next year when you get your free cash number, it's already gone. So it's reduced. So you're looking at it and saying, well, okay, this is still good money. You know what I mean? It's kind of a, you know what I'm saying. It's
Yeah, so sir, my recommendation for it had been the 50% going over.
That's
we
mine.
have essentially an energy audit coming through with the energy companies that are willing to reimburse us 70% for municipalities, change out all the lights in the buildings, move in the LED lights, some more energy efficient. That could cost us roughly $100,000 for all our buildings. I would recommend that's the one-time expense, because that is a one-time expense.
It would save
to
probably
pay
a lot
for
of money,
that.
though.
Yep. And then I would recommend, because we've had issues with free cash, at one point it was going to be considered negative free cash this year, that we do not expend the rest of it and do let that roll over. We need a buffer. That's part of what the $500,000 reduction was that we used all of last year's free cash. So it's, while we desperately need items, we also desperately need to make sure that we are fiscally solvent.
Well, but I mean, if that's the case, then put it all in the stabilization fund. If that's what you think, if you think that's money we need to buffer, then put it in your stabilization fund.
Well, as you know, the only problem is to get that out, then you would have to
Gotta
vote
go to
it
town
out of
meeting.
stabilization.
So what? I
So
mean, so.
that
if-
would mean if we're getting our tax rate set in December and there's concerns, we need to pull more money out, we'll have to call a special town meeting.
Right.
So that's why I just letting it roll over. For the time being, it's not what I would want to do, but it might be our best move right now.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, that's not really a good idea, but I guess if, on a temporary basis, I think I could go along with it. Very short term. But we've got to figure a way to get them to, we've got to figure out to get our house in order so that we get that number before town meeting.
Before October town
Before
meeting.
October town meeting. And I'm not talking
not
about
spring.
April. No, that'll never happen. That couldn't, that's impossible to happen. The year hasn't even ended yet. You can't even recap it by then.
No, I'm saying we shouldn't jump for joy. We want to get it before this April town meeting.
No. We're lucky. I can't believe that we're still not talking. We're almost going to April town meeting and we haven't got the free cash number. That's just amazing. I mean, that means our house is not in order. I mean, that means there's some work to be done.
Well, I think there were some concerns, and that's part of what the $500,000 reduction was. And we asked Powers and Sullivan to also to go through and redo the balance sheets for the DOR to look at them, and I think they've looked at it seriously. At one point, there was a consideration. The DOR believed that we might have had negative free cash, and I think there's going to be a change in that. So I think we needed to prove something to them in this go-around. We're at a new starting point with them. So if it took extra time this year especially, I'm okay with it because I think we have a true new starting point where we're all agreeing.
Building a new consensus.
Well, it's get back on track is a good thing. It's only going to be a thorn in your side until you do.
Can I make a motion on this
Sure.
article to place it on the warrant?
No, they don't.
Oh,
We do have a capital
it's Article 5.
capital
Oh, we do.
plan placeholder.
It's
Yes.
a placeholder,
Okay.
so
That's the article I think is actually done by the town administrator, though.
Yeah.
Capital planning makes a recommendation, the town administrator actually does
well,
the
can't we
article.
put it on, can
Sure you
we
can, sorry.
Yeah, we have to
make
put
the
it
motion
on.
to put
Yeah.
the placeholder in?
Yes. Second.
Motion made by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 400.
Put the 4 million right in there.
Can I start spending it now?
No, I'm not kidding when I say that.
I know.
I am absolutely serious that it is time to reinvest in the town. Period.
Anything else you'd like to tell us, or?
Jimmy's in shock
I've got a
right
list
now.
of things.
Oh, we weren't that bad.
Jimmy says I have a great plan. Just give me some money.
Yeah,
That's all.
exactly.
They've had a plan for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, it's time to put the plan
Well,
in
we
motion.
hope to move from this being an academic exercise to a more constructive one.
Hey, listen, this was good by itself. This is more than we've had in the past.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. It's good to see you again.
Same here.
You're looking great.
You're still cranky, though.
You still cranky?
Thanks.
Mike got more than enough.
Yeah, he's got a car.
All right,
I
policy.
don't want to read it, I'll start crying.
We'll see you Friday morning, Jim.
First sentence, add a new sentence.
Well,
A member?
Okay, looks like we got some more policies up.
Okay, policy 94-3. At the end of the first sentence, add new sentence. The applicant must have paid all taxes, etc., due the town before license permit shall be issued.
Well,
I believe we
but-
have Article, this is Whiteside's 2014
yeah,
policy.
14-1 actually took care of this.
That-
So
so
we
I'm-
can omit this
I
one.
think we can omit 94-3 because we actually
So
updated
moved.
it.
So, second. Aye. Hey, and it went in too. Did you see that?
95-1, change the fee to $100.
So moved.
Whoa, whoa,
Wait.
whoa. What's the fee now?
75.
And my notice there is if we're working on fees that we're currently working on, if it's done by that point there, then we can just eliminate the policy.
All right.
It's 75 right now. When the policy was first set, it was 25, so let's go to the 100 and then work it into the complete revision of
You
the
guys,
fee.
you never saw a fee you didn't like, you guys. None of you.
We like every fee.
Yeah.
You've never seen a fee you didn't like. I don't believe it.
Okay. That's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion. You have a second?
Second?
Motion made by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Slavin.
Been a long night already.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
95-2, remove and include an employee handbook provided to all employees by the town administrator.
May I ask that this be put on hold as I'm in the process of working on the employee handbook? And in fact, the employees do get a copy of this document. So,
That's why I think we just can eliminate the policy.
okay, fine. I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, motion to remove by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
I love it. Less bureaucracy, better.
No kidding.
Looks like the next one is 97.1.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maybe.
97.1, reviewed question now, or whether relevant, no changes needed. So we'll leave it as it is.
Move it.
Actually, no motion necessary, just
Nothing.
leave it.
Oh, all
Staying
right.
the way it is.
Okay.
97.2.
97.2, this should be included in our master plan. Question whether this policy is being followed. So again, something I believe we can drop out and part of the master plan. Patrick can add it to his paperwork.
Yeah, I'll put this in the, for the master plan committee.
Second.
We'll add that.
Okay, there's no motion here to do anything with it. He's just
No.
taking it to the master plan committee.
We're gonna remove it.
No, we're going to move
You
it.
can remove it now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
I just moved it.
And I seconded it.
Okay, I guess, all right, motion made to remove by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Okay. It is gone.
That's it. Update of the master plan committee.
Yeah, good segue here.
Yeah, I have not gotten a hold of everyone yet. I hope to have it in the next day or so, have everybody on board.
Okay.
And I will report to you next week exactly when we'll be meeting.
Yeah, why don't we just do that in liaison report? It doesn't have to be on here.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have.
Back to the articles.
Articles.
There's very important people on this list, so it's a little harder to get a hold of than you think.
Especially my wife.
How's she doing?
Doing great. Article number 1, election of officers. I believe that's just the standard reoccurring article.
Move it.
Second.
Motion made by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
Reoccurring business, same issue.
Move it.
Move it.
Motion made by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
Article 3 is a recurring item. I'm not sure where we have it since we don't ever get
Move it.
any funds.
We have a motion made by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor?
Aye.
400.
Revolving funds are just a standard item
Same
we do
item.
every year.
Move it.
Second.
Motion made by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 400.
Next one up we'll have that's ready to go would be town administrator with a FY15 budget.
Move it.
This is a placeholder article, just so people know what's going on here. We're not voting any actual money at this time.
It's basically a bare bones budget based on what we have for revenue, and it will have, I'm not going to go into discussion because we haven't seen a final version. Actually, we haven't, as a board, seen the finance committee version that was just given out last Wednesday. So I really don't want to comment. I saw it because I represent to the finance committee, but there's some severe cuts in services, and Mr. Sullivan will go through it once we get it.
Yep.
Shortly, probably next meeting. It's not pretty.
Okay, we have a motion.
Did.
Motion by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor? 400.
Next is the Upper Cape Regional Voc Tech School.
Move it.
Have to go on the budget no matter what.
Can we just take 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 we already did?
If you want, I can go 9, 10,
Just read the
11.
numbers, and we'll just do them all at once. Why
Yeah.
do we have to take a vote on each one?
All right, we're up through 7.
Just for the record, that's all.
Just call the numbers out, and we'll do it.
Okay, Article 9,
Yeah,
Article 10,
yeah,
Article 11.
Yeah.
I want to hold off at that point, just from now 12.
okay.
Oh,
All
move.
right, why don't we identify them quickly? Article 8 is Upper Cape Regional VOTEC budget.
Already did that one.
9 is water pollution control. 10 is appropriation to EMS. 11 is rescind previous town article for purchase of school buses.
Yeah, those are just numbers.
Move all of those.
Okay,
Plate
motion made by
different
Selectman
places.
Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, 400.
I mean, is there anything on here that we're not gonna put on?
No, I just have
No.
one question. On return the Everett School of Town Control,
Yeah.
the one issue that it's an old building, and I think that we can bring it forth, but I think we should make sure we do our due diligence to find out when the town acquired that property, which is probably 100 years ago or something, what the status is. My only fear is that we got a gift, a grant, or something that may have that particular piece of property restricted what you can do with it, even as far as selling it.
What used to
It
be,
was-
the Little Red Schoolhouse, right?
Yeah, it was the first, and it actually was, the property was gifted to the town, I believe.
I just want to make sure there's
Yeah.
nothing in there, because I don't have a copy of the deed or anything, so.
Yeah, and that's fine, but
So
we're
we'll
still
put it
gonna
on,
put it
we'll
on the
put it on the
warrant.
warrant, but we need
Move
to
it.
also make sure that we
I mean, I don't see anything
Yeah.
here.
close the loop.
Right.
I mean, the
Move it.
petition articles go on automatically, and I don't see anything here we're not gonna put on.
No, so basically, even on number 13, the high school roof, so
Right.
12 and 13, motion for those.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made by Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 400 on each.
And just to clarify, that's to place the articles on the warrant. It is not an indication of our support or
Which we
non-support
haven't
of the
done yet,
article.
right.
We haven't done
Right.
yet.
Which, and those will be done in conjunction, I believe, with the
Are you happy
Finance
now?
Committee, so that the petitioners and the
Okay,
proponents
good.
only have
As
to
long as
come
you're happy, I'm okay with it.
and meet once.
You wanna
So,
close the warrant now?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion to close the warrant for spring, April 28th town meeting.
Second.
motion made by Selectman Slavin, seconded by Selectman Tropiano. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. The warrant is closed and completed.
Thank you all. Follow procedure. It's great.
Happens every so often.
You get there. F, we've been trying to get a hold of a member of the Housing Authority who is out in the West Coast, and was going to send back a notice saying that that person was not going to rerun, well, actually wanted to resign from the Housing Authority. Have not heard from her. Did speak to her directly myself as well. Was going to send a letter off, haven't got it. So under MGL Chapter 121B, Section 6, because we have it, we have to do something. I would like a vote to go ahead and notice a hearing to remove the Housing Authority
moved.
member.
Second.
Thank you. What about the?
Okay, we have a motion by Selectman Slavin, seconded by Selectman Whiteside.
No.
No?
I
No,
s- made it.
she made the motion.
Okay, motion
you.
made by
I seconded.
Selectman Whiteside, seconded by Selectman Tropiano.
You got it.
A lot of motions tonight. Is there anything else on the question? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
Any town business not?
Just
Reasonably
one second.
anticipated.
I just want to clarify. This particular Housing Authority member has already indicated
Yes.
her intent not to run for reelection. She actually attempted to submit a resignation via email, which unfortunately, this has to be a notarized document. So this is simply a ministerial function. It is the vote to send this notice of the hearing. We don't anticipate that it's going to be contested at all, and it's certainly no reflection upon the individual or the service that she's provided the town.
I'll just make a note that I spoke to her less than a month ago, and there was a medical issue, so we were hoping to get the paperwork in. This is not something against anybody personally, it's just an issue. She did say she was resigning, but we need actual paperwork to make it happen.
Okay. Next item, please.
Any other town business not reasonably anticipated 48 hours prior to the meeting? Mr. Whiteside? Mr. Tropiano?
No.
Not me.
Nothing.
Town administrator?
All yours.
You can imagine that the days have been encompassed with the budget. I want to let everybody know that we've been working closely with the superintendent and the schools and trying to figure out ways that we can bring this to a balanced budget. Currently, and next week, before the next meeting, you'll receive a document. We are approximately $235,000 away from a balanced budget.
Excellent.
So there's cuts, there's a few new revenue sources, and then next week we'll be able to go over that. So I anticipate to provide that to this board, including it as what I think we need to do is the 5-year projection with those as well, so that everybody can see what it means even when we cut down to this year, what the future looks like. The next site is probably something people have been seeing on the news or reading about is the salt shortage. We are not immune to that, much like many of the cities. This year has been extraordinary in the amount of snow. Right now, we have ordered 300 tons of extra salt, which has not come. The distributor's phone is basically disconnected. We can't get through to them right now. So you need to be careful on the roads. The secondary roads are not receiving the same salt treatment as they have before. We're concentrating on the main roads, and for safety's sake, for those which have the highest velocity and such. So please be careful out there. It's icy even tonight when if this doesn't freeze over, there's still going to be some slick spots. And don't forget, with rain and with a lot of the snow melt, there's going to be ponding as well. So please be careful. As part of this, we've also been asked, many of the private roads are, after a year like this with plowing, they're developed the ruts and the potholes. If you have any questions, please reach out to the town administrator's office. The Board of Selectmen have created a bylaw originally for how this gets done. They had to accept the Mass General Law for temporary repairs to private ways, but you need at least 50% of the linear footage owners to petition the Board of Selectmen. We'll have somebody go out there to assess the costs. You actually need to pay for it beforehand before it will be done. That is in the bylaws. We can bring it up. Anybody requesting it, we'll be glad to send it out. So maybe I'll ask that we put it on the front page of the website so that people can access the proper process. So thank you.
Mrs. Whiteside, any reports? Mr. Tropiano?
No.
I've got several. I'll make it quick. The planning board will be having a public hearing, actually a public workshop, sorry, on Thursday, 7 p.m., Town Hall cafeteria, to discuss the basic first draft of the TDR. It's open to the public. The planning board, the Board of Selectmen will be there, going over the actual TDR article itself, which will hopefully come forth for town meeting. Is online as well. We actually, last Thursday, I'd like to thank very much the town administrator and the school superintendent, really to get the ball rolling. I've been making a little noise, which never has been enough for the last 3 years, about the budget issues and how we kind of let things slide and hopefully it fixes itself, whatever you want to word it. But it's never really been tackled properly as far as actually doing something rather than just saying something. That meeting had a couple members out of the finance committee there just talking. I believe we had a selectman there as well too. And it was a very general discussion, and they came up with a game plan to actually have a plan. We always hear the word plan. It's a 4-letter word. It's actually a good word. And it's been agreed that we are going to have a plan. And that's the first time this has happened in a long time. and I'm hoping this all works out well. Some of the cuts people will like, some of the cuts they won't like, some of the changes in service, it will be yes, no, but at the end of the day, we have to live within our means, and we also have to have a program that this town can survive and actually prosper on. And the way we were going, that was not going to happen. So I'm hoping that this is just the beginning of a very nice start. It's been a long time coming, and I'd like to thank everybody involved for actually making it happen.
No, thank you for that summary. I don't have anything to add to liaison reports.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Selectman Tropiano, seconded by Selectman Whiteside. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained. 400. Thank you very much. Good night.